Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada.
Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in today for this very, very special book indeed. And we are reading Vincent's Colors. And this one is it's Words and Pictures by Vincent van Gogh. And you might be asking, how was that done? Well, this was done in collaboration with the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Met, and of course, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And they brought us this amazing book based off of letters that were sent, that Vincent van Gogh sent to his brother Theo. So I am absolutely thrilled to share this one. And of course, just a good reminder too that sometimes the work that we do will not be celebrated in our time, but it will be later on that people get to appreciate it, just like it was with Van Gogh. But I hope for you that your work is celebrated when you are alive and able to see it. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad you are here. Good morning to you, Amanda, West, Sarah, and Nathan out in Illinois. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Oh my goodness. First through the door. Love it. Good morning to you. And then good morning to you, Henry and Marietta out in snowy Harvard. I hope you go sledding and enjoy all the beautiful snow things. Thank you so much for joining in. Jade, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. And actually, did I say hi to you, Henry? Just making sure I said hi to you, Henry. And of course, hi to you, Marietta, as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Ava, Scarlett, and Jade, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Good morning to you. Sonia Abrantes and João Tiago, good evening to you out in Lisbon, Portugal. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad you are here. Abraham in San Leandro and Terry McLeod, good morning to you. How are you doing today? And Humphrey, how are you doing today as well? Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. And from LBC, good morning to you. Say beautiful and sunny today. Oh, absolutely love it. Happy for you. I hope the heat wave is gone because you were in the 90s the last time I checked. I hope today is nice and sunny and not too hot. Good morning to you, Rocco, Clay, Grandpa June, Great Grandpa June, and Chriselle. How are you doing today? As always, appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here on Story Time. Ellen Edwards in Chicago, you say, my favorite artist. Well, Ellen, keep dropping those bits in there. Tell us a little bit more that you feel people might want to learn about Vincent van Gogh. Thank you so much for joining in. As always, appreciate you out in Illinois, in Chicago. Thank you so much for joining in, Ellen. Appreciate you. Good morning to you. Awesome. Well, João Tiago and Sonia Abrantes, I am glad you're still here for Story Time, and I'm glad that we're able to be together. I know that right now it is very hard. A lot of us have to be home because of COVID, but we hopefully we are all staying safe, and indeed our loved ones as well. I wish everybody out there the very best. Thank you so much for sharing that. Good morning to you, Auntie Palm. How are you doing today? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, absolutely. You know, I've been struggling with that name so much. I get it now. So, Braylon, Kevaya, and Chad, how are you doing today? And of course, Pamela. In Nakitosh, thank you so much, Louisiana. How are you doing here? Woo, indeed. Thank you for joining in. Kavaya, I am sorry I've been butchering your name this whole time, but I will get it right from now on. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Braylon, Kavaya, and Chad, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Ellen Edwards, you're saying, severing another sunny day. Well, enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely love it that you are here. Of course, it is the boys in Auckland. To Subira, Sekama, and Mbazira. How are you doing right here in Auckland? Thank you so much for joining in. And Heather, good morning to you as well. Lots of people breathing a sigh of relief. I am glad you're here. Good morning to you. Say sunny and in the 90s is bad for my knitting. Oh, sorry, Chriselle. Well, hopefully very soon, the temperatures will go down. And I will wear your hat even if it's 90 degrees out. Come on. Good morning to you, Marvin Injekwa, out in Zambia. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, Baby Lutavezi, how are you today? Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely appreciate you. Love it, love it, love it. And Marietta and Henry are saying, hi, Pamela Courtney. Well, good morning to you. I hope Pamela sees that and absolutely appreciates it. Badir, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining in. So good to see you. I hope everything is going well. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I hope your work is going well as well with all those amazing kids that you have. Thank you for joining in. And hopefully connect soon as well. Sharon Lungo, how are you doing? And today you're with, of course, Soraya as always, but we also have Alice joining in. Well, good morning to you, Alice. Alice, how old are you? And is this your first time on Storytime? Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing? Thank you, everybody, for sharing in and letting us know that you are here for Storytime. So we are going to get started and read our story. And today we are reading, it is a very special story that has been put together by Chronicle Books and the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art of New York. So I'm excited to share this one, and this is called Vincent's Colors. Vincent's Colors. And also, just before I get started, want to make sure that I say hi to my little guy Mason, who is 3.5 years old, out in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much for joining in, Mason. Absolutely love it. Hugs for you. Thank you. All right, so here we go. Vincent's Colors. Words and pictures by Vincent van Gogh, and of course put together by the Metropolitan Museum of Art and Chronicle Books. And a big, big thank you as always to Chronicle Books for the amazing work that we've been sharing here on Storytime. Are you ready? In for a treat. How about that? Vincent's Colors. Vincent van Gogh was an artist who loved bright colors. He was born in the Netherlands, where the rain can make things seem dark and gloomy. When he grew up, he eventually moved to the south of France, where the sun is stronger and the colors brighter. Aww. Vincent wrote many letters to his brother Theo. In them, he often described his dynamic, colorful paintings. Here are a few of his paintings and what he said about them. A yellow sky with a yellow sun. A jug in squares of blue and white. A reddish cap and orange bricks. "12 flowers that are light on light." Trees gray-green with a pink sky. Cypresses of a bottle green hue. Some very yellow buttercups. And all the ground is yellow too. Roses in a green vase. Also, as we are going through, just think, what would you name some of these when you look at the paintings? What would you name them? You know, does it match the description that Vincent gives? A window with a green shutter. How cute is that? A lady's clothes in black, black, black. How about this one? 2 yellow chairs, the yellow of fresh butter. Leaves of silver turning to green. Stars sparkling greenish yellow, white. A big bunch of violet irises. Trying to get my hands out of the way. And in my head, a starry night. Oh, the end. And in the back here, you get to see some of the information about that. If you have this book or manage to get it from your library, you'll be able to see the different parts here. And it shows you what letter it was and when it was written. And then it says, the works of art reproduced in this book are by Vincent van Gogh. He lived in 1853 to 1890. The words of this book were taken from Vincent van Gogh's letters, many of which were written in French or Dutch to his brother Theo. In some cases, the words were translated verbatim. In others, a free translation was used. And the credits below list the number of letters and the quote in each spread. So absolutely information that you'd want to check out. And of course, Ellen, people like you, I know, who love Vincent van Gogh can share a little more information. But of course, as well, please do remember that this art for me is so important. But then usually it is among the first things to be cut from schools. And I hope that that does not happen. I look forward to a time when we will be embracing this, embracing art, because we're able to have books like this and all the books that we share with the illustrators and creators that are able to bring us books. But that has to start, the interest has to start being built when we are still young. And I feel like it's such a shame that usually it's the programs that are cut. And of course, it is usually with the schools that are in areas that cannot afford them. So we need to be working, we need to be pushing our administrators, pushing our leaders, that we need to have arts in the schools. They are very, very important. And to all the creators out there, to all the artists that keep believing and keep pushing, we celebrate you and we wish you the very best, that your work can be as successful as possible. And of course, today we're celebrating Vincent van Gogh, just some of his work, and amazing. And when you read about his life, you'll find like it was a struggle through and through, but his work was celebrated much later on. But I wish everybody out there that your work be celebrated when you're still alive to see it. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed that one, that special book presented to you by the Metropolitan Museum of Art and, of course, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Vincent's Colors. Thank you so much for joining in. And then we are back again tomorrow to close off our week, celebrating the different work that people do. And tomorrow we'll be looking at professional crocodile. What is that one all about? Professional crocodile, celebrating all the different work that we do and makes us all special. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I am glad you were here. Let us see who else was with us today joining in for that story. Let us see who else was with us. One more time, Sharon Lungo and Soraya. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Jade and Ava Scarlett, thank you so much for joining in. Oh, good morning to you one more time, Pamela Courtney. And you're saying, dear writing critic partner, Marietta, thank you. Oh, absolutely. Appreciate it. Andres and Aurelia Lee, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I am glad you are here. Thank you for joining in. And Sharon, you saying, Alice is 6 years old. Well, Alice, thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, Soraya, as always, a big hug for you. Thank you so much. And Javier Lane, you say, great book indeed. Absolutely. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I hope everybody at home with you was enjoying it with us as well. Thank you so much. Terry McLeod and Abraham, you say, great book. We love the arts. Absolutely. And please do read up more on Vincent van Gogh. This is a great introduction to his work for all our little ones out there. Thank you so much for joining in. Maria Antonia, trying to scare me. How are you doing today? And Davi, good morning to you. Harmony Beth, you say good morning. This book should inspire kids to play around with glorious colors. Absolutely. If you can manage it, why not? Please encourage our little ones to do it. Creators out there. Thank you so much. Do you say, Ellen Edwards, you say seeing Van Gogh's paintings in person is even richer experience because you see the texture of the paint and his brush strokes. Absolutely. And I hope people get a chance to see them maybe when they're exhibits near your place, or indeed if you're one of the lucky people that will get to travel to Amsterdam someday and you can visit the Van Gogh Museum. Thank you so much for sharing that information. And of course, I wouldn't be an illustrator now if the love of art wasn't instilled in me by K through 12 art teachers. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Marietta. I appreciate that angle because that's what we don't see that we build. It's those things that we're introduced to as kids that inspire us and keep us going. So thank you so much for sharing that right now. Absolutely appreciate it. Henry, thank you so much to you too, buddy. Marvin in Jekwa, say, what a great story. Flowers in a clay pot. All right. Yeah, I'd have loved to hear more of the names. People would have coded some of those paintings. But thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I am glad that we were able to be here today to share time together and to be here with this great community. Thank you so much for joining in. I wish you a very, very beautiful day wherever you are. And a special mention today goes to Mason, 3.5-year-old Mason out in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for the messages and thank you for joining in Storytime as you do. Thank you and hopefully see you soon. And of course to you, Marietta as well. Thank you for joining in and everybody that joined in Storytime today. Thank you so much. And Ava Scarlett, you say my uncle went to Amsterdam in the museum. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I am glad to hear of that experience as well. Hopefully someday people can get to travel and see all that beautiful work. Thank you for joining in Storytime. Much love from me as always. And we're back again tomorrow. Please do not forget when we come back for Professional Crocodile. So do join in and find out what that one is all about and enjoy a few laughs. I guarantee you will be surprised by the ending of this book. It is a very, very, very good ending. I every time I see it, I still get surprised, even though I've seen it a few times. So do join in Storytime tomorrow. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Please remember to wash your hands. Remember to sanitize. Remember to please wear a mask if you're going out. It is not to protect just you, but you're protecting your neighbors. You're protecting everybody that you love out there. So thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Much love from me, and please enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be